Welcome to the second season of the PBA League. 8 star-studded teams owned by some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment. Today, Billie Jean King's defending Elias Cup champions, the New York City WTT Kingpins, and franchise player Pete Weber take on Chris Paul's LAX and their franchise player Jason Belmonte in a format that features singles, doubles, trios, and 5-on-5 team play. It's an all-or-nothing battle on the road to the Elias Cup final. The winner advances, the loser goes home. And it starts right now on ESPN. Yeah! Welcome to Thunderbowl Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. The PBA League is in session. Semifinal matchup between the LAX and the New York City WTT Kingpins, one half of the bracket. Coming up next time, Silver Lake Atom Splitters will take on the Philadelphia Hitmen. Singles, doubles, trios, and team competition in the PBA League. Mike Jakubowski with Hall of Famer Randy Peterson and a look at the lineup. Owned by Billie Jean King, the Elias Cup defending champions, the New York City WTT Kingpins. Pete Weber, Hall of Famer Scott Norton, John Zerbinski, with Stuart Williams and Jake Peters, managed by Hall of Famer Carolyn Doran Ballard. Their opponents in this semifinal, the LAX, owned by Chris Paul, featuring two-hander Jason Belmonte, left-hander Hall of Famer Parker Bone III, Colombia's Andres Gomez with Mika Koivunyemi and EJ Tackett, managed by the USBC president Andrew Kane. The third member of our broadcast team is Kimberly Pressler, who is working laneside. Kimberly.
Thanks, Mike. Both of these teams have done a great job making their way to the semifinals, but Jason, last year the LAX team didn't do all that well, and today you're going up against the defending champions. How do you think, one, you're going to do in your match against Pete, and do you think you guys have what it takes to take the final win, take this all the way to the finals today?
Look, I came out on tour to bowl against Pete, and these matches is what I live for, so I'm going to give him everything I've got, and I know he's probably going to give me everything he's got, plus a few crotch chops along the way. As a team, though, we're really confident. We've got some of the best shot makers to have ever evolved a ball down the lane in Mika and Parker Bone, especially those two guys. We're ready. We're going to give them, grief.
Well, in order to give them grief, you got to go through this guy first. Pete Weber, you're a big shot over here with this team, leading the way for them. How do you think you're going to do against Jason, who has had a lot of recent success? TOC, Player of the Year, beat Sean Rash in the Clash. You think he can take him today?
And Jason has earned every one of those titles he just got. But the one thing he hasn't got to do is beat me on TV yet.
Whoa, well, there you have it. Those are some fighting words. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Kimberly. Hall of Famer Pete Weber and Jason Belmonte. Here's a look at our PBA League format. It's a point apiece in singles, doubles, and trios. The team competition, 5-player Baker team game, is worth 3 points. Jason Belmonte will get things started for the LAX. This is singles competition for 1 point. A battle of glasses, sunglasses for Weber, and Google Glass for Jason Belmonte.
It's got a little camera there in that right eyepiece. He can record every shot that he throws, and you get a bird's eye view of what it looks like from the eyes of the reigning Player of the Year, Jason Belmonte.
Opening shot in our semifinal, LAX versus New York City WTT Kingpins. Strike for Belmonte. Back to the bench. Now the defending New York City WTT Kingpins, the Elias Cup champions. Singles competition, Pete Weber, franchise player for Chris Paul's LAX. Toes the line, first frame. A little high, 4-7.
You know, they were having good fun with each other in the interview, but I think Pete Weber's pretty proud of the fact that Jason Belmonte has not beaten him one game on television, but in order for Pete to keep that streak alive, he's going to have to throw a lot of strikes in this game.
Weber covers up the spare. We are bowling on 42 feet in this PBA league, and it is tinted blue to give us a unique look at the playing surface.
Pete Weber's going to go obviously a lot straighter than Jason Belmonte, just for the simple fact that his rev rate's much lower. But you know, the players try to go as straight as they can early and then just migrate towards the center part of the lane as the outside part dries up.
Pocket smash strike for Weber.
Yeah, you see the good friends off the lanes, but this match has started. There's no giving fives or hugs after the match gets underway. Weber wants to win this, and I promise you, Belmonte would like nothing better than to beat one of his idols.
Jason Belmonte, member of the Australian national team from 2002 through 2011. And he wipes out the 10 and a little something right back at P. Weber.
Uh-oh. The party's getting started early.
I've been waiting for that one. It's been in my memory bank for a while.
Watch this ball just absolutely disintegrate. The headpin comes flying across, takes the 10 out. Again, another look from the back of the pit. And then he's got a little something for PDW.
Serve and volley. Now third frame on a double for Belmonte in the singles 1-point game. Opening powerful turkey for Belmonte.
You know, on second thoughts, making him angry probably wasn't a smart idea.
That was exactly what I was thinking. Go back just a couple of years ago at the U.S. Open when one of the fans was irritating Pete. Pete went from the 4th seed, climbed the ladder, and then beat Mike Fagan by throwing 3 in the 10th to win by a pin. The most memorable U.S. Open in PBA Tour history.
Full approach for Weber through the blue oil. Kicks out the 10. Double for Weber and a little right back at you. Raise of the Hall of Fame eyebrow.
See him working that thumb with the towel. You always go through the same routine. It's a great tip for the folks watching. You know, get a routine, stick with it. Pete's routine, drying the thumb, wiping the oil off the ball, putting his hand in his bowling ball, looking at his target, and go.
And Weber, turkey's right back.
Good shot. The winner of this match, after the singles, doubles, trios, and the team event, will move on to the finals. The loser goes home.
No, I was worried about flat 10.
Carolyn Dorn Ballard, manager, commiserating with Weber. Now, Belmonte is perfect through 3. 5-stepper, 2-hander. Oh my, 9-pin.
That was no good.
Well, this is the only downside to all that power is watch the bowling ball as it goes through the pocket. No deflection, the ball goes right by the 9-pin.
Okay.
Mental error.
Jason's surprised this ball doesn't hook an inch. I know it's a plastic ball, but he was relying on just a little bit of curve going into that 9-pin, didn't get it, and it's an open frame in the 4th.
Explodes the 7 out of there. Still thinking about that open frame in the fourth. Belmonte, 4 out of 5 with the open here. Singles, 1 point. Doubles and trios to follow. 1 point apiece. Pete Weber, spare turkey, now working in the 5th frame. Another Hall of Famer looking on, Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Pete Weber have had memorable battles on the PBA Tour over the years. And Weber comes back with the 4-bagger.
He looks like a little older version of the Terminator from the neck up. And right now he's trying to terminate Jason Belmonte.
Sixth frame, Weber on the 4-bagger. That's going to creep high, and a split. The 3, the 6, the 7, and the 10.
That one.
Well, you heard him say he grabbed it, and that made the ball check early and go high.
There's that grab again.
Like he just came off the side of it a bit more than he wanted to, and the ball broke loose off the end of the oil pattern, cutting too sharply through the nose.
That's something that's good for you.
So open frame, open apiece in our opening singles game. New York, LA. Belmonte versus Weber when we return. A League semifinals are brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. By the USBC, the national governing body servicing the needs of bowling. To learn more, visit us on bowl.com. By hotelplanner.com, the best place to book hotel rooms. Best rooms, best rate, guaranteed. And by Rotogrip, your time is now. Own it. Welcome back to the PBA League. This week's Columbia 300 fun fact pertains to our host here in Allen Park, Michigan, Thunderbowl Lanes, which in 1961 was home to the Detroit Thunderbirds of the old National Bowling League. They competed right here in this arena, where today we have a coast-to-coast battle. LA versus New York. Singles continues for 1 point. Jason Belmonte trails by 7 pins, but he's up in the 6th frame, working on a strike and an opportunity to take back the lead. And Jason Belmonte wearing the Google Glass, which is recording his perspective of what he sees. Here's what he sees in the 6th. Double and a lead change.
I want you to check out the pin action here. 6 goes to the sidewall, cuts the 10 out, and then there's just stuff flying everywhere. That is how much power Jason Belmonte's bowling ball hits the pins with. It's really amazing thing to watch.
Belmo back in the pocket. Turkeys
back in the lead as well. Up by 13 now. Thanks in part to the open frame by Weber in the 6th.
Weber in the 7th. The last time these two met was in a major, the 2013 Barbasol Tournament of Champions. Worth another look via our Ebonite flashback.
While Jason Belmonte was lofting the left gutter cap, Pete Weber was finding a home. Jason, a little overreaction when he got it right. Split 3 times in this match, but Weber, well, he found a way to blend both lanes out perfectly using that great ball rotation. And he really took advantage of Jason Belmonte on that telecast.
Head-to-head singles for a point here in the PBA League. Weber in the 8th. And a pocket smash, 10 in the pit.
Back to 3 in this match. Pete Weber, much better shot that time on the left lane. Pete Weber, max score 254. Jason Belmonte, max score 267.
Belmonte strikes, kicks out the 10, and a 13-pin lead once again for LA. Let's look at the Dexter approach of Jason Belmonte.
Look how the right foot starts open, and then in the second step it remains open, and the step before the slide, how that right foot of Jason Belmonte turns dead right. That opens the hips and allows him to feed the ball to the right. And a great balance at the foul line.
Stepped out, fast 8.
Oh, he threw it 100 and then pulled it. It was a good thing he threw it fast because that ball was left of target. Now Pete Weber has a chance to shut out Jason Belmonte.
Seven down, spare for Jason Belmonte.
Well, Pete said at the start of this matchup, Mike J., that he has never lost to Jason Belmonte on television. Weber needs to throw 3 strikes, 1 in the 9th, 2 in the 10th, and he will defeat Jason Belmonte.
Split.
Oh, what a...
Well, the old Pete would have let you know exactly how he feels about this. The new Pete is much better at controlling emotions for the most part. That's just a horrible break.
The breaks of bowling right there. The breaks of bowling.
3 strikes in the 10th for 220 now, with Belmonte pacing in the 230s.
Well, Pete's going to lose to Jason Belmonte for the first time unless Jason Belmonte does something really dumb in the 10th frame.
So Weber finishing up.
I know many times we use kind of the same color. I know you will be tired of me to use that ball.
Here in the PBA League, Weber finishing up. And we'll go down to Belmonte here in this singles. 1 point to LA.
Finish it off. And another breaks of bowling right there, huh?
Doubles coming up next for a point, followed by trios. Also our 3-point team match to follow. Whoever earns the most points moves on to the Elias Cup Finals. So, for the first time ever, Jason Belmonte beats Pete Weber on television and grabs the first point for his team in this PBA League semifinal. New York City versus LA continues with alternate shot doubles. The PBA League continues here at Thunderbowl Lanes. The LAX up 1-0 after singles, and Kimberly Kressler stands by with the franchise player that got them that point.
A very happy franchise player, Jason Belmonte. So you did it. You beat Pete on TV. Maybe not for a title, but you did beat him.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere against Pete, and you know, I'm happy to have a win for the team. In this format, you can't get through to the next round unless you win one of the singles, doubles, or trios, unless you want to force a roller for the Baker, and I certainly don't want to do that. So I did the job for the team, and to have a win against Pete, it's just a little bit of icing on that cake.
Well, good luck. The next time we see you is in the trios. Guys, back to you.
Belmonte taking a break from the action, but Pete Weber right back at it here for the alternate shot doubles. He and partner John Zerbinski taking on LA's Mika Koivuniemi and Parker Bone III. And Zerbinski will lead things off in doubles. 25 years old, 4 years as a touring pro out of North Tonawanda, New York. Collegiate player coming out of the Wichita State program, like many others have out here on the PBA Tour. Opening shot in doubles is a strike. Blows the 5 out of there.
Good start. Alternate shot doubles, or some know it as Scotch doubles. John Zerbinski has done very well in the League Series, not only this season but last season. I think it was a great pickup for Pete Weber's team, the Kingpins.
Leading off for the LAX, Mika Koivuniemi. Mika slaps him back for a strike. Our doubles format is alternate shot. Player 1 throws the strike ball. If he doesn't strike, player 2 will convert the spare. If player 1 strikes, player 2 will get a full set of pins. Repeat through the 10th frame. So Zerbinski struck. Now his teammate Parker Bone III from the left side.
Mike J., I got to tell you, both teams have left-handers on their squads. Parker Bone III with LAX, and for the Kingpins, it's Scott Norton. And throughout this competition, the left side of the lane has really held up nicely. It doesn't go through near the transition as the right side. And you take one player in particular, Ryan Simonelli. He hasn't missed yet in this competition. If it was me, I'd be getting my left-hander more involved.
Weber light hit, flat 10.
All right, come on, John.
You know, the key is to get a point in either the singles, doubles, or trio, because ultimately you got to have at least 1 point. You win the team event and you move on. You know, that's 3 points for the team event. Well, if you get swept in singles, doubles, and trios and you win the team event, now you go to a roll-off. Oh, no.
Zerbinski caught plenty of the 10-pin. Don't know what the oh no was. Carolyn Doran Ballard, manager for the Elias Cup defending champions. Plenty of team experience collegiately herself. Team USA.
Beautiful shot there by Weber. Vintage PDW.
All right, man.
Jason Belmonte, in putting together this club with manager Andrew Kane, said we needed a shot maker, so we added Mika Koivuniemi.
Well, Mika's a world beater. This guy's won all over the world, and former player of the year. Won $250,000 a couple years ago at the Tournament of Champions. He's one of the best in the world. One of the few guys who is a medium rev type player that can compete with the high rev guys. Weber being another.
So LA Turkey on the board. Parker Bone III up in the 4th. Trying to keep the line blemish free. And he does. 10 back for Parker.
No, not as good as yours, but I'll take it.
Great shot by the Southpaw Hall of Famer Parker Bone III. A style and form that has absolutely withstood the test of time. He doesn't look any different now than he did back when he first started on tour. I don't want to give his age away, but it was 20-something years ago.
Zerbinski is a 4-time member of Team USA. He won the Team USA team trials back in 2013, defeating Marshall Kent. High, there's that 4-9. 4-9. Gosh. That's a good shot. Pete Weber with a chance to convert on the 4-9. This is one of those splits that Weber is pretty solid at.
Well, Pete's a great spare shooter, and when you're a great spare shooter, you make a lot of splits.
A little something like that.
Way to get me.
Wow. All right, I'll take that.
And here's your hammer, tough, spare replay.
Mike J, it was almost like you knew this was coming.
The 4 into the 9, perfect conversion. Weber with the tough spare, not so tough in that instance. Slid it right through, keeping clean. Could have dug a deeper hole, but LA just 30 pins ahead on their 4-bagger. Now Zerbinski.
What the heck? Great shot.
Pin's not cooperating. The boys are hitting the pocket, but they're not getting strikes, and they're going up against an opponent who is perfect through 4 frames. This match is getting out of hand in a hurry.
Okay. Wow, John, great shot.
LA's Mika Koivuniemi and Parker Bone III perfect so far with 2 strikes each. Jumping out to a 31-pin lead over New York City. Can Weber and Zerbinski bounce back? PBA League doubles continue. PBA League action returning to Thunderbowl Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. Mike Jakubowski with Hall of Famer Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler. And I'm going to Bioblast. Let's meet the owner of the New York City WTT KingPins, Billie Jean King, tennis icon, World Team Tennis founder with 39 Grand Slam tennis titles, founded the Women's Tennis Association and defeated Bobby Riggs in the famous Battle of the Sexes. And there is her franchise player, Pete Weber, along with team manager Carolyn Doran Ballard. While we were gone, both Pete and partner John Zerbinski managed to strike, but unfortunately for them, so did LA's Mika Koivuniemi and Parker Bone III. So far, that pair is perfect as they take their turn here in the 7th.
Still perfect.
There's the family of Mika Koivuniemi. Lena, his wife, right in the middle. There's the story. 7 strikes. Kingpins clean with just 1 double. LA in command, already up 1, looking to go up 2 points. Trios for 1 point and 3-point team match at the cup. Making it look easy.
That was out a little bit.
They've been on the same lane since the start of this match because they keep throwing strikes. They haven't had to go back and forth. They're locked in. I don't think Parker's going to miss. Mika gets a strike in the 9th. Might see a 300 game.
So LA in great position to go 2-0. Zerbinski up in the 8th frame for the Kingpins. Oh, 6 around the 10.
Sorry, Stu. You know, should I just throw a strike shot?
Stu Williams coming in for Pete Weber, trying to get some shots under his belt before the trios match. John Zerbinski trying to get a strike so that Stu Williams could throw a strike ball in the left lane.
Just on the strike shot. doesn't matter.
You heard Stuart Williams say, I should have thrown the strike shot. I mean, the spare's insignificant. The match is over.
If you don't strike, there's no point in me coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just fine. Yeah. I asked my captain and she said shoot it.
Throw a strike shot. One.
Communication is everything in team play.
I'm not sure that was well communicated. All right, now Stuart Williams gets to finish, gets to throw a strike ball back on the right lane.
Hey!
So LA will go up 2-0, but now we get to see if Mika Koivuniemi and Parker Bone III could team up for a perfect game in this doubles in the semifinal of the PBA League. 8-bagger, 9th frame. And the 10 gets slapped by the 6. Andrew Kane likes the action.
The only roadblock for this team right now in pursuit of perfection is the fact that if Parker strikes on the next ball, Mika has to move over and throw the next ball in the 10th frame. He hasn't thrown a shot on the left lane the entire game.
And that's 10 for the LAX.
Hi, buddy.
After you, says Parker.
And
Over there.
FYI, both Parker and Mika Koivuniemi have bowled perfect games on television in singles competition.
Chance now to combine their efforts on behalf of the LAX. First shot on the left lane for Mika, front 10. Can he set it up for Parker Bone? The 8 and 9, and we are going to have a chance at a perfect game.
That may have been the best shot of the match. Mika has not thrown a shot on the left plate. He steps up and absolutely packs that shot. Wow. That is just incredible. Perfect. 8-pin last to go down. Good stuff.
LA's up 2-0. Chance to put the cherry on the frosting on the cake for perfection. No, 299.
Are you kidding me?
$299 winner, LAX 2-0. Setting up the 10th frame. Mika drills a perfect shot and sets it up for his partner to get 300 -1. Trios when we return. PBA League semifinals are brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. By Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. By Barbasol, Close Shave America, Close Shave Barbasol. And by Hammer Bowling. Nothing hits like a hammer. PBA League rolls on at Thunderbowl Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. And here's a Barbasol Close Shave.
Well, LAX was perfect. Mika had to flip-flop lanes, go from the right to the left. He throws a perfect shot. This team trying to bowl a 300-game Parker Bone, absolutely robbed. He threw a great shot just to leave that lower 10-pin.
So the LAX up 2-0 in the match as we head into trios. Back on the lanes to start things off is the winner of today's singles match, Jason Belmonte. And Belmo kicks things off with a strike.
Remember, in trios, the leadoff bowler will bowl the 10th frame. So in essence, it's your anchor bowler. There you take a look at this lineup. Belmonte, Andres Gomez, E.J. Tackett. 3 guys that know how to curve the bowling ball.
And on the flip side, Scott Norton leads off with Jake Peters and Stuart Williams filling the 3rd, the 6th, and the 9th. Norton from the left side. And a wiggle on the 7.
I think this is a really good idea to have Scott Norton bowling first and anchor. I think that you get him on his own island, the only lefty out there. He doesn't see the transition. Parker only bowled on the left lane, which should only make Scott Norton's shot even better.
In trios, you make your own spares and cycle through the lineup one at a time. So Norton completes the frame and earns the spare. Each of these trios teams features a very good younger player that has surfaced through the last couple of years. And for the New York City WTT Kingpins, PBA Tour champion Jake Peters assumes that role here. Peters on the strike, 2-time member of Junior Team USA.
Jake Peters can bowl, don't fool yourself. He actually won his title on the 50-foot pattern, and this kid's got a lot of talent. He's got team experience. I think it was a great pickup for this team. Almost looks like Jake Peters and John Zerbinski could be related.
Andres Gomez up for the LAX, 2nd frame, working on the strike. And a double. Love the style of Andres Gomez. We mentioned young players making a name for themselves, and LA's E.J. Tackett has certainly done that over the last year. Most recently as the top seed at this season's USBC Masters, where he finished 2nd to LAX teammate Jason Belmonte. And the 10 goes.
E.J. Tackett is a young player on this tour that can create a boatload of power. You want to talk about somebody getting that bowling ball at the bottom of the swing for all it's worth. It's E.J. Tackett.
Jason Belmonte, speaking about Tackett, says E.J. Tackett has 0 fear. So turkey on the board for LA. Stuart Williams up. Kingpins striving to stay alive here. Need to earn a point. 3rd frame.
So bad.
Stu Williams trying to open up the entire lane, and he had some success early doing this. I don't think he got the ball far enough to the right, or as far right as he wanted. That ball came back just a little soft. You want to talk about fun? Hang out with Stu Williams for a while. The guy's the epitome of fun. Funniest guy like in the world ever.
Always thinking, always chatting, always willing to share his views.
It was more that way.
I was telling Carolyn Doran Ballard he kind of thumbed it down and kind of spun it a little bit. Maybe that's why it was so weak coming off the spot. Now Scott Norton, 4th frame, trying to get the Kingpins back in the game. See how hard it came off the spot on that lane? That's the lane that Parker was on. We got a little bit more friction on the left side there. And boy, you could really see it as Scott Norton's ball hooked up nicely into the 1-2 pocket.
Jason Belmonte, the reigning Chris Schenkel PBA Player of the Year, already making a serious run at capturing that honor again here in 2014. with wins in the Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions and then becoming the first player in nearly 50 years to successfully defend a USBC Masters title. And LA has got the front 4.
All right, boss.
Getting pretty used to that. Watching Jason Belmonte strike.
That's 15 of 16 for LA between the doubles and the trios. At 299 coming back in doubles, courtesy of Parker Bone and Mika Koivuniemi. Now Andres Gomez. Watch the great release and follow through at the line. Comes up a bit short. 2-8 double wood with the sleeper.
He's got a little bit of that open hand release like Pete Weber. Tommy DeLutz is another name that comes to mind. That hand opening up. See that? Fingers pointing to the ceiling. This ball coming in light. The bucket and friends were standing there for a bit, but now it's just the 2-8.
Spare conversion for Gomez.
No, it's firm.
2 games, 2 points, and 8 pins here in trios. EJ Tackett throwing strikes, and the LAX cruising thus far. More trios action when we return. Welcome back to the PBA League Semifinals here at Thunderbowl Lanes. Let's meet the owner of the LAX, Chris Paul, the LA Clippers guard extraordinaire and 7-time NBA All-Star. Paul also the runner-up for the NBA's 2008 MVP. He earned Rookie of the Year honors back in 05-06 and serves as a spokesperson and ambassador at large for the sport of bowling. Chris Paul loves his bowling. Paul's LAX up 2-0 in overall points as well as by 18 pins here in the trios match. Strikes all around while we were away. Peters and Williams for New York. And Tackett and Belmonte for LA. So now Scott Norton up here in the 7th working on a 3-bagger.
They need it. They need a win desperately. It's a must to win this trios game so that they can earn at least 1 point heading into the team event portion of this match. They can't afford to go into that down 0-3. Big shot coming up here for Jake Peters. I said earlier he won his only PBA title on a long 50-foot oil pattern. That was the Badger back in Milwaukee last summer. Imagine bowling on 50 feet of oil. Better be pretty good to do that. This kid won on it.
Be good.
Just missed it.
Run it down now. Run it down.
Just missed it.
Just missed it how?
He missed the release at the bottom, so this causes the ball to hit kind of flat. He doesn't quite catch it at the bottom. Just misses the release point. So it doesn't have as much power and revolutions going into the pins.
Ends over ends it down and takes out the 10-pin.
Missed it. Huh?
Now Andres Gomez looking to extend the lead here.
Last time up on the left lane, he went light, leaving the 2-8. Prior to that, he struck on this lane. Big shot there. Back to a 19-pin lead. Again, we talk about being on a team that features Jason Belmonte. It's kind of turned. You end up being a winner through osmosis. I mean, just the energy and the vibe that this guy gives off, because he's been so red hot this season, and it just kind of filters through the rest of his teammates. Right now looking to go up 3-0 against a pretty good team. The Kingpins, your reigning PBA League champions.
Tack it up in the foundation frame. 6 around the 10.
Boy, was that a good shot. Actually gives the Kingpins some hope. Kingpins can strike out for 249. LAX is already in the 240s.
Error.
Now, Stuart Williams and Scott Norton can get up and strike out 9th and 10th frame and steal this game. That was a beautiful shot. And you really got to trust what you're doing when you're playing that extreme angle with soft speed like Stewart just did there. But I think they've got the right guy up in the 10th frame, and I think they got him on the correct lane. Check this out again. That ball just would have knocked 20 pins down. But you've got Scott Norton up on the left lane. I think this is the best thing that could have happened for the Kingpins.
Great.
That is a lead change. The Kingpins lead by 4.
One more strike for Scott Norton and 7 pins. 7 pins on his fill shot. The Kingpins are going to steal this trios match. See Pete Weber there in the lower third.
Make 'em pay, baby. Make 'em pay.
Stuart Williams saying, make them pay. Boy, it was a lot more fun over on the Jason Belmonte LAX bench just a couple of minutes ago until E.J. Tackett missed that 10-pin. You know, he threw a great shot, Mike J. They were working on a 3-bagger. He strikes there. The match is all but over. And instead, he misses the spare. And with 7 pins here, Scott Norton and the Kingpins are going to steal one.
With a little extra to spare. 249. And now 2-1 LA as the Kingpins pick up a point on the way to Baker team competition.
Yeah, I was going to offer manager Carolyn Dorn-Ballard a little advice going into the team event. Let Scott Norton bull anchor.
When we return, 5 players combined for 1 team score. 3 pins to the winner, who will advance to the Elias Cup Final. Stay with us. Welcome back. PBA League action rolls on in Allen Park, Michigan. Team competition yet to come. Stay logged on to PBA.com for all the latest PBA news, tournament results, player updates, and fan promotions. Right now, the PBA is teaming with Barbasol to allow fans to post a pose of their own strike celebrations for a chance to win some great prizes from the PBA and Barbasol. Head to PBA.com and click on the Strike a Pose link to learn more. Kimberly Pressler is laneside with New York City's Scott Norton and Carolyn Doran-Ballard.
I sure am, and the Kingpins are still alive. That was a huge win in the trios for them. Scott, you came through with that hero move in the 11th. Now, you absolutely needed to get that strike. What was running through your mind before you threw that ball?
Well, the biggest thing that was running through my mind is we needed the win for the team, and I knew how big it was to get that 1 point so that when we win the Team Baker game, that we win the whole thing. So I knew I was just going to throw as good a shot as I could, and it was about as good as I could throw it.
Well, Scott, talking about how good you've been throwing, Randy's been up there talking, Carolyn, just that exact point right there, that he's playing so well and he's a lefty. Randy wants to know, are you a little worried that you have Pete as the anchor and not Scott because he's a lefty? The left side of the lane hasn't had as much play?
You know, you can always second guess yourself, but absolutely not. The team, this was a team decision. Last year they had John, Scott, and Pete in the last 3 positions, and they won. We did that yesterday. It was phenomenal, and honestly, it's PDW. He's a GOAT, the greatest of all time, and as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the guys I'd pick to throw for the cheese anytime.
Well, there you have it. We'll see how that strategy works out for you, guys.
Thanks, Kimberly. Interesting, Randy. Do you ride the same pony, or do you stick with the Hall of Famer? Significant argument or to be made in either way.
Look, y'all know how much I like Pete Weber and how fond I am of him and what I think about his game. I mean, arguably the greatest ever. But in this situation, you put Scott Norton in at your anchor position. It's that simple. He's a southpaw. There's less traffic on that side of the lane. That's the right decision. I don't care what Carolyn says.
Well, we will see what happens in the three-point team match with Weber on the back end. Randy, a chance for track tech talk and bowlers out there. Bowlers on the PBA Tour know that surface is important, but everyone else might not know how important.
Well, surface is everything because it controls the ball motion, no matter what the ball is. Players are constantly adjusting the surface of their bowling balls to make it match up with the patterns. Now here we have two identical bowling balls. The ball on the right is a factory shine. That's the way it comes from the factory. The ball on the left is the exact same ball with a 1,000 grit Aberlon pad added to that surface. What does this do in terms of reaction? The ball on the right is going to go very long before it hooks off the end of the pattern. The ball on the left, because it has surface, it's going to grip the lane surface much sooner. The overall reaction of that bowling ball is going to be much, much smoother.
That is great to know. Randy Peterson with Track Tech Talk coming up next. 3 points, all important 3 points. LAX New York City WTT Kingpins. 5-player Team Baker is coming up. PBA League action continues with our 3-point Baker team game, which will advance our winner to the final. The Geico Championship recap features Randy Peterson.
And the singles match, it was Jason Belmonte, Pete Weber, stone 9 by Jason Belmonte, which he would miss, giving Pete Weber a chance. But in the 9th frame, Weber, the unthinkable pocket 7-10 split, leaving the door open for Jason Belmonte, and he shuts that door with a strike of the 10th. He wins 234-208. And then the fireworks began. Mika Koivuniemi, Parker Bone III taking on Weber and John Zerbinski. And it was the Mika and Parker show. Parker needs this hit for a perfection 300 game. Denied. Ripper 10, 299, 216. And then in our trios match that we just saw, E.J. Tackett and his team LAX in complete command of this match until he whiffs the 10-pin in the 9th frame. Then the stage was set. Stu Williams needs to strike in the 9th. He does. Now it's Scott Norton time. He has to throw 2 in the 10th. There's the first. There's the second. Scott Norton and the Kingpins finally get on the board. Nice shot, Norton.
Five-player Team Baker will decide it between LA and New York City. LA up 2-1. 3 points on the line. Mika Koivuniemi will lead off. Ring 10. The LAX lineup, Koivuniemi leading off, bowling the 1st and 6th, followed by E.J. Tackett, Andres Gomez. The back end features Jason Belmonte and Hall of Famer Parker Bone III.
Do you see who they have bowling anchor? Look at that name right there. Parker Bone III, bowling anchor, not Jason Belmonte. What? Come on, Mike, work with me.
You made your point earlier, and LAX took advantage of that. And there's Carolyn, who has a hunch the other way. Okay, we'll see how it plays out. Stuart Williams for New York City. Through 42 feet of blue oil. And a strike.
Nice shot.
I'm trying to get a handle on their lineup. Now, Stuart Williams just pulled the 9th frame of the trios to set up the 10th frame to allow Scott Norton to do what he did. So now we move him to first position, so he'll bowl 1 and 6. Then you got Jake Peters at 2 and 7. Serbinski at 3 and 8. Okay, I'm with you. This is where it differs for me. Scott Norton and Pete Weber, I would flip-flop those two. You're not buying into it, are you?
I will let it play out. Tackett strikes.
That's a nice comeback shot for EJ after he cost his team a point, missing that 10-pin in the 9th frame. Check out how deep he is. The 20th board, 4th arrow. Beautiful shot by EJ Tackett.
Second frame, Kingpins working a strike.
Yeah, baby. Come on.
And the winner of this game will decide the match.
And we'll decide our first 2014 PBA League Elias Cup finalist. And there is the Elias Cup, named for Eddie Elias, founder of the Professional Bowlers Association, formed with charter members back in 1958. Gomez for LA, trying to even things up here early in the Baker team. Maybe just a touch higher than he wanted.
Yeah, it finished pretty heavy into the 1-3. Caught a lot more of the head pin than it did the 3-pin, but that's just a great camera angle. You can actually see the bowling ball cutting through the blue oil. Almost looks like there's a rooster tail behind the bowling ball. And that ball just kind of stopped just enough when it got to the 1-3 to strike.
Yeah! That was for you, Randy!
Wow. Thank you, John.
Not that time, big boy.
I haven't gotten a shout out in a long time. Thank you.
Yeah! That was for you, Randy!
So Serbinski pumped up as New York City remains perfect through 3. Jason Belmonte up now in the 4th, working on a double. 10-pin.
It's underneath your foot there.
Well, with that rev rate, he's farther left than any other player in this game. No big surprise. And he's used to it. That's why he developed that lofting the left gutter cap game that he's pretty much unbeatable at.
Spare for LA.
I never gave it the room it needed.
Talk about turn of events, huh? I mean, LAX was dominating this entire event, and with one missed 10-pin, all of a sudden the Kingpins are back in action. They're leading this. They got on the scoreboard. So we take a look at our Baker format, 5 bowlers per team. Each player gets 2 shots. Just pick your lineup and make sure you got the right guy to bowl an anchor.
Big split for Norton.
Okay, so maybe Carolyn was right. As much as I hate to admit it. Scott Norton, the hero of the trios game, goes right through the nose, leaving the 4-6. How did that happen?
All right, guys, pick me up, pick me up. Pick me up, pick me up. Pick me up, boys. Sorry.
Here comes the anchor bowler for LAX, Parker Bone III. Remember the last time we saw Parker, it was on the left lane, and all he was doing was striking every ball except the last one for 300.
Parker Bone strikes +3 for LA. First time through the lineup for LA. We'll switch sides and bowl the other 5 frames on the opposite lane after Pete Weber bowls the 5th for New York City.
You know, I started bowling some of the PBA 50 tournaments last year, and it was bad enough having to compete against Pete Weber, but this year I'm going to have to compete against him and Parker Bone III and Mike Scroggins.
Light hit, shakes it out.
All right, guys, come on. Come on, no worries.
So only 3 pins separate these two powerhouse teams as we complete the first half of the all-important team match. Who will advance to the Elias Cup Finals, Los Angeles or New York City? The final frames of today's competition coming up next. New League Semifinals are brought to you by Barbasol, Close Shave America, Close Shave, Barbasol, by HotelPlanner.com, the best place to book hotel rooms. Best rooms, best rate, guaranteed. By Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. And by Radical Bowling Technologies. Wow, that's radical. Things still almost dead even here in the final game of today's semifinal between New York City and the LAX. Stuart Williams leaves a 10-pin in the 6th, as would Mika Koivuniemi. Both players cleaning up those single pins without incident. Jake Peters would right the ship for New York in the 7th with strike.
Come on, boys.
And then E.J. Tackett unable to answer Peters' strike, leaving the 10-pin, which he then converted. So only 2 pins separate these two teams as we come down to our final 3 frames of competition to determine who our first Elias Cup finalist will be. But before we get going, a special thanks to the staff here at Thunderbowl Lanes, including owner Tom Strobel. We appreciate all they do and their support of the PBA League. So John Serbinski steps up with a big opportunity here in the 8th frame for New York.
Yeah, big opportunity. They can take the lead with if John gets up and strikes here. But he was really good last season's team competition. He's been pretty solid this year as well. Another great pickup for Pete Weber and Carolyn Doran Ballard and the Kingpins.
Strike to take the lead, 8th frame. And a 10-pin.
Run it down now.
Spare for Zerbinski and the Kingpins. Randy, it's going to come down to the 9th and 10th frame, and what we talked about at the start of this match was going to be the anchor play. It's going to come down to who performs in the 9th and 10th.
This is a big shot here coming up for Andres Gomez, because if he strikes here, Belmo and Parker Bone can strike out and shut out the Kingpins. This shot here will tell a lot. If he gets 8 and spares it, we're tied.
No spare there. Strike for Gomez. Last pitch is a good one.
There's that open hand again. Signature trademark move of Andres Gomez.
Now the lefty Norton for New York City foundation frame, trailing by 2. 7-pin.
It's right here.
So once again, my prediction was correct. In that Scott Norton shouldn't have bowled in the anchor position that Pete Weber should have. And so far it's looking that way. I mean, he split in the 4th frame, and oh wait, I said Scott Norton should have bowled anchor. Oh, my bad.
Spare pickup for Norton. He's done.
Finish it out.
That's why I'm not a manager, Mike. That's why Carolyn Doran Ballard's down there, and I'm up here with you.
Weber awaiting his turn in the 10th, but first Jason Belmonte with a big shot in the foundation frame. Opportunity here to add to that 3 pin advantage. The winner advances to the Elias Cup Finals. 3 points on the line for this team game.
Uh-oh.
3, 4, 7, 10.
Stand by, folks.
I thought that was all right.
3, 4, 7, 10. This ball right through the schnozola. And I mean, there is a nasty design left after this ball goes through the pins.
No count lost. Makeable split.
Yes, it is a makeable split. It's not something you make every day, that I can promise you that.
Nope! Better believe it.
I believe it. You just saw it.
Come on.
Well, once again, the best bowler on the planet steps up and just makes the 3, 4, 7, 10 keep his team in it. Pete Weber steps up now, 10th frame. Needs to strike out to force Parker Bone III to throw a double and 8.
4-pin. Spare and a fill will force Bone now to just mark.
Write it down. Come on, write it down.
Boy, what a golden opportunity missed. You know, Belmo steps up, he leaves the split. When you're on the kingpin side, you're like, oh my, we have, look at the gift. And then it was almost like Belmonte just re-gifted it, just snatched it right out of their hands, and then Weber unable to throw 3 strikes in the 10th frame.
.204 for the defending Elias Cup. New York City WTT Kingpins, owned by Billie Jean King and managed by Carolyn Doran Ballard. All that remains is the 10th frame, 1 Hall of Famer, and 1 mark away from advancing to the Elias Cup Finals.
I'm going to put it out there and say that Parker Bone's going to hit the pocket. The only thing he needs to avoid is the pocket splits. No 7-10, no 6-8. They're going to win.
Yes! 3, 4, Parker Bone.
Yes. Closer in the game. That's why. Yes. Come on. 7.
Parker needs just 7 pins here to wrap it up.
I might pull this off.
And now the math is official. 2014 Elias Cup finalists, the LAX.
Great shots in the 10th frame by Parker Bone III. That's why they put him there. Steps up and just performs brilliantly.
So LA dispatches the defending Elias Cup champions, beating New York City 5-1 and moving on to the Elias Cup Finals, where they will face either the Silver Lake Atom Splitters or the Philadelphia Hitmen. And you can see that semifinal match next Sunday. Can Bill O'Neill and Philadelphia knock off the Atom Splitters, a team that features 3 former Players of the Year? Find out next Sunday at 1 Eastern. There was no stopping LAX today as Jason Belmonte and company ran over last year's Elias Cup champions, the New York City WTT Kingpins. Belmo, Parker Bone III, Mika Koivuniemi, E.J. Tackett, and Andres Gomez all headed to this year's Elias Cup championship match. For Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler, this is Mike Jakubowski. See you back here next week for Silver Lake versus Philadelphia.